if you have just woken up from a drunken stupor and you have no idea what you're listening to right now, this is Low 5 Gaming. My name is Luke, and this is my co-host and brother, Alex.
Yo, what up, Luke? Good to be here.
Yes,
thanks
sir.
Thanks for the intro, man. I had forgotten everything.
Yes, my man, name unknown, has taken too much speed, too much tequila in his car, perhaps, and too much good times, and he has, or sad times, really. But anyway, he's forgotten everything. So we are the Disco Elysium podcast for you today. How you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing well. It's
Overtaken
exciting.
by the sudden urge to smoke some cigarettes in the ashtray. You're like, damn, smokes look good. Sorry.
Find some hidden beer. Maybe drink that. Maybe give it to a bum. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows what's ahead of us? Let the people know what we are officially and where they can find us, man.
Yes, Low 5 Gaming. We're a backlog book club. We do a game a month, play the game, talk about it, see if we can beat it, talk about our experiences. We also invite folks to join us in our Discord and play along with us. It's fun times. You can find us on low5gaming.com. You'll find links to all our socials there. You'll also find an invite to that Discord. Come and join us.
Hell yeah. This month, we're actually on like a 2-monther because we really got into some nitties and gritties. And as young dads, we decided we should beat a game for once because we've been a little bummy about that. But we did Disco
Our win
Elysium.
percentage, dude, it was killing me. I was like, you know what? Like, we're playing some good games. We're having some good discussions, but I need to roll some credits, bro.
Yeah, dude. The Chivos, we weren't building up on them Chivos. We're just slacking. So we got through Disco Elysium. For those of you who don't know, from the Steam page, Disco Elysium, The Final Cut, is a groundbreaking role-playing game. You are a detective with a unique skill system at your disposal and a whole city to carve your path across. Interrogate unforgettable characters, crack murders, or take bribes. Become a hero or an absolute disaster of a human being. Some popular user-defined tags. I found this entertaining. RPG, totally true. Story-rich, totally true. Choices matter, yes. And detective. They should also say hot garbage mess simulator because you can be as messy as you so like. Love the game.
Look, man, I don't disagree with those tags. And when you look up what type of game this is, it is overwhelmingly described as an RPG. And it is. It's a role-playing game. But I tell you what, dude, I feel like it's a missed opportunity to just call this game a point-and-click adventure because that's what it fucking is, man.
You know, I guess I don't personally have enough of a history of point-and-click adventures. I feel like that's an older millennial vibe. No shots being taken, but just like PC, the general pocket that those games are super hot in.
Mm-hmm.
But it is certainly a point-and-click adventure. Yeah, I played it on the Steam Deck too, though, so it's like it's been adapted well. But it's what it is. It's a talk.
It's been adapted. Okay,
fair. That's
So
that's
I play both. I play both on the Steam Deck and on my PC, and I got used to the controls on the Steam Deck. You know, those which would be the same controls if you're playing it on any of the other systems. You know, with a controller, and it works.
I use the trackpad a lot, so kind of. Although maybe it kind of works like the analog stick. Anyway, continue.
I did a lot of screen tapping on the deck.
Occasionally, yes.
And so, like, I'll tell you what, man, it works. I learned the controls, and I made it work because there is something about the convenience of being able to take the game to the couch or to your bed or whatever. I love handheld gaming.
It's a beautiful. It's story rich. It's almost like a visual novel to some degree, but it's way more interactive due to the choices matter tag.
Indeed,
but the super intense dialogue. So it was I played probably 60 to 70% in bed and the other 30% on the couch. So simply because this is not a game I had like with TV playing in the background. Like, no, you're fully up in the game. So some for more particulars, it is from Zaum. There's a dash in the middle. Otherwise, you're tempted to call him Zaum or Zaum, or I don't really know him like that, but that's the studio and that's the developer and the publisher. They are an independent game developer and publisher based in the UK and Europe. ZA Studio was founded in 2016, and they've grown to a global studio composed of nearly 100 writers, artists, engineers, and producers. And Disco Elysium is their first game. It was released originally in 2019 on PC. It feels such like a PC game, hence your point and click. Since then, it has won numerous awards and Game of the Year honors, including 4 Game Awards, 3 BAFTAs, and a DICE Award. The definitive edition of the game, Disco Elysium: The Final Cut, was released on PC, Mac, and consoles in March of 2021. And lastly, if you want to buy some sick game-influenced fucking fashion statement piece clothing, dude, website's got you covered.
They got them.
Yes, sir.
It is fun. There is like a bit of a culture that is built around this game. I think, if you were to talk to some gamers, especially PC gamers, and ask them what are some of the best, it can be a bit decisive, but I do think that this game does rank in near the top of a lot of folks' lists.
Oh, it's a masterpiece. You'll see it in the news too. So people make games documentary. If you want to hear some of the industry tea, we're not really insiders in the industry. There's some other pods you can go to for that, but it should be mentioned. A lot of the original writers, so being super important because of how writing intensive this game is, they're all fighting over stuff, and there's all sorts of nonsense. But anyway, we chose this game because it is a natural evolution of Alex's Game Boy niche games. He's like, let's play games where we pal around and solve things and have a few little dialogue choices and environmental choices. And I was like, but what would that be like in the 20-teens and 2020s? And this game is a super evolved version of that.
It is indeed. It was funny about midway through. I think I hit you up and I was like, dog, it's kind of clowning that we went from Pine Creek to Dedius.
You actually said it in person, and I had been sitting on that hot take for weeks. And I was like, oh, dude, I was going to fucking hit you in the face with that one on the pod. But yes, it felt like a natural evolution. It was good prep work to like kind of play, even though they're modern games made around the same time. That style of
Game Boy games. So it's to see it on a big, to have this on modern consoles. It's obviously a different, it's a different playground. But
so the story heavy, the dialogue, the just like finding clues, it was very cool. And this game, woof. If you want, I'm sure if you made any list ever for the best type of games of this genre, this is going to be almost everybody's number one. It's acclaimed across the board, man. A lot of people's top 10s. Did it make your top 10? Not to spoil this whole thing, but is this one of Alex's famous top 10s, or what's up?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. It's great. It's great. But for me, I don't know. I need to sit on it longer, man. I rolled the credits last night. So this might be one of those games that over time I think about more. And I'll be honest, like when I rolled the credit, like we can get into this later, but there's a lot of branching story stuff that happens in this. And, I often use Witcher 3, which is in my top 5, top 10, top 5 probably. Actually, you can go to our GOAT games, and I think it might be 3 or 4. I think I missed the opportunity to make it 3. I think it's 4. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there.
I was very upset about that, but continue.
That's neither here nor there. I just think I need more time to sit on it because I really appreciated it, but it did take me a while to get into, and that's not a knock. A lot of games are that way. I'm not sure. I think I just need more time, dude.
Well, I finished about a week and a half ago, and I would say that at the time I beat it, I was like, that was super cool. There were some moments I was crazy and engrossed. And then I've thought about it a lot in the week.
That's what I'm saying. I think it might be one of those games.
Like, maybe I'm just going to YouTube a bunch of different paths, and I was like, I'm probably not going to play this game again. I'm definitely going to play it at least one more time, and I'm going to take it wildly different.
So that's what I was driving at, is like with all the different branching paths, like I'm happy with my playthrough, but you can just see, like I can just see all the different opportunities that you have if you made different choices. So I do think that I would normally not return. And I bring up Witcher 3 because, I know that you can do branching paths in Witcher 3, but I have way less interest in going back. I know you did this recently, but like I have way less interest of going back to square one on Witcher 3 and doing a playthrough and playing it differently than I did the first time. Whereas this game in particular,
time, what's the deal?
We're divided on that, but
it's just Triss every time, dude. You just got to go for
you do Triss a couple times, and then you move the romance to act to Yennefer, but that's that's the Witcher pod.
But you don't tell her you love her, and then you marry Triss, and that's how you play the game.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
dude. But it's been sitting in our backlogs because it's so acclaimed and so like everyone's like, you gotta play this fucking game, and you hear it from critics, you hear it from friends, you hear it from friends on the internet. You just see good content around it, and you're like, I'm gonna get there, and that combined with it just shows up on my games that are great on the Steam ED, the Steam ED verified, and some pre-boyoing, but Ace is like, you gotta do the pod. You gotta do it on the pod. So all those things kind of came together, and I was like, let's do some disco. And we disco danced. Is that why you kept sending me the Travolta meme?
Yeah, dog. Disco.
Dude, just realizing that on the spot. I was like, Al's really into the Saturday Night Fever Travolta vibe. Like, this is like the third time he sent me this GIF. And I'm like, sounds good, dude. Like, man loves Travolta right now. All right, okay.
It's the disco. It's one of the better disco GIFs.
Just gonna move on, dude.
Interesting. For Metacritic on PC, it has a 97. That's a top tier score. PS4 86, PS5 89. So the console ports don't get as much love as the PC, and I think that's because folks aren't able to use a mouse.
Yeah, I think
I'm telling you, man, the mouse is money in this game.
The Switch probably brought it down too. I'm sure this game doesn't.
Switch
it got
86.
the Steam Deck cooking, not like other games, but it's not a not powerful game.
Right, and in true lo-fi fashion, shooting from the hip. Don't fact check me on this, but I am fairly certain that the original version of this game did not have voice acting, and they added that in 16 versions or whatever. And dude, just as good as the story is the voice acting in this game, dude. It is so good.
Yes, although for the final cut, I think they changed some of the actors, maybe there's a whole thing. But yes, the voice acting was great, especially because I was coming off of a game that did none, and they're still sick, but like you really get into the different characters when someone else other than your internal dialogue comes up with their voices. Example, to jump ahead, Kuno. The fucking voice, I want to punch him in the fucking nose, and we'll get into that later because I have lots of Kuno thoughts, believe it or not.
Fuck, does Kuno care?
Overview of the game, dude. Super crunchy RPG. I know there's a CRPG and it means computer RPG, but this,
right,
because it's been ported to consoles, it's still going to take RPG or CRPG because it's a crunchy RPG. Mm-hmm. You got lots of stats. You upgrade them. Your character wears different clothing. So if you're into those types of choice thing and builds, this game does a pretty good job of that.
And the clothing and items give you boons, or they might have a negative effect on you as well.
Yeah, and that plays into how you want to play the game. There's different ways to go about the investigation.
There's a dice roll.
The sort of hidden. I'm not sure if it's actually really relevant dice roll, because there's sometimes I hit some ridiculously low percentage ones where I was like, that's just how you progress the story. Yeah. But it's a super story heavy game. The craziest writing I think I've ever seen anywhere for a story. Like the amount of dialogue. I guess we haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet. Jeez, keep that in. But this game's writing is 1, clever, 2, funny, and 3, insanely detailed. I'm sure there's stuff that we've never seen and that I know from the different options and things I didn't choose that, like, as far as the different perks and stuff, that it can go down a lot of roads.
I don't think I've ever played a game where I've like cared so much about the dialogue and been so impressed with the voice acting that I actually felt bad when I like would click through stuff that I didn't wanted to rush through.
Yeah. You're like, I have to put this down because I'm not playing this right.
Right. But there's certain things like I could kind of get a vibe, but you miss out on little key details. Like it's worth taking everything in. Like I'll be honest, I did click through stuff when I was kind of trying to do other things or whatever. But I felt a little bad about it because I'm like, wow, that like even this shit that I'm clicking through, and I also have a thing too where the text is on the screen. So sometimes like if I'm not like fully immersing myself into the game, like I quick read while they're like mid talk or whatever, and it's just like I almost felt a little bit of shame being like, okay, cool, forward. Yeah. But because it's so good. It's so good.
It's so good, but it's also lore dense.
Oh, yes.
A lot of the times you are a can opener. and you're just like getting to the bottom of this mystery and you're cracking people open. But a lot of times you're just talking to people, and the whole point of it is just to world build and build lore. So like I'd start to like catch that drift sometimes, and I'd like get through. But this game's so detailed. Sometimes you talk to someone about a certain thing for long enough, or you get to know them, you start to like put other pieces together. So like none of it's totally random, but enough of it is where sometimes you skip through like an idiot, like you just mentioned.
Dog, I'm a click everything type of person.
I know.
So, like,
sometimes even if I wouldn't say that, because I know it wouldn't actually change the story, it's just I want to hear everything that can
you
play
also
out.
get experience points for going to different stuff. So it's like, which I was a little bit disappointed. We'll get into this a little bit later when we hit a spoiler time, but it wasn't detrimental because I was getting the experience points. But as far as like a full on role play, like if folks are going to pick up this game, like play it any way you want. But that's one thing that replaying, if I replay this, and I think I will, but it's just is going to be, I'm going to take some time to let it sit for a while. But I will go in with a mindset that like, okay, I don't need to min-max my character. I want to fully take a route. I want to choose a route and just role play that fucking route. And that's how
I've thought about that a lot. Knowing how the story and the main beats play out, it'll be fascinating to like be inside. But
because my understanding,
spoilers, the both of us had a pretty similar, let's just say, ideology. The two of us had a very on par ideology with each other, and it was kind of hilarious. You could tell how careful we were playing. We'll get into that, but that's how cool this game is that once you know, like you could go crazy with it on your first try, and I do encourage it.
Shout outs to Rick of Pixel Project Radio in the Discord for being our disco Sherpa.
He sure was, dude. One time I was like, I don't want to look this up, and you're like, dude, hit him up. It'll feel nice and communal. And I was like, that's a good point, dude. I was like, it's not cheating if you ask the homies. So shout out Rick, dude. Hell yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, dog. Good ups, Rick. I appreciated that, and it's super fun. Like, and another thing that he actually told us too was, don't be afraid to roll the dice and like, don't save scum. Like, just roll with it. And that's another thing about this game is it's very story driven.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so did I, dog. But like, I tried to roll with it, but I think that like truly this game, it's not like a Mario where you like can't get past a certain area and you have to like hit the platforming perfect and all that kind of bullshit. You can go through this game losing all of your rolls, I assume. Like, it's just not going to work out the way you wanted it to, maybe. Like the story progresses. It just takes a different branch.
I couldn't talk to the crate into opening itself. I was very upset about that.
I got it open.
What? Oh, more on that shit later. But yes, dude, it's this excellent murder mystery. Once you know the ending, there's so much more you can crack open. To give the vaguest overview to people, if you're just trying to, like, there's factions. And those factions are based on political ideology. It's your classic communism, capitalism. The names have been changed, like the countries that they're talking about, the groups they've been talking about. Sometimes they're obvious who it's like an analogy for. Other times it's just like, hey, here's, in any conflict, here's who this would be. But you have your communist capitalists, a little bit of fascists worked in. You have like it's a revolutionary. You're from a city that's not where your character ends up, so you're an outsider, and we mentioned in the intro, like, you've lost your memory and you're just trying to figure out this murder mystery. You're trying to figure out what's going on around, and then like you as the player character knowing nothing, it's perfect, right? It's a beautiful video game setup, because although sometimes, dude, I as the character playing the game knew more than the character would allow in the game, and that's frustrating. Sure. I'm like, dude, I know, I remember I've been able to piece this together. Like, but I did make my character really dumb, so that's actually on me.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. Did I tell you because you get to pick your build in the beginning. I think you might even be able to adjust it, but you have they have like templates that you can go with. And I think I must have picked a physical build, because we can look at our stats here shortly.
We're gonna pause that because it's definitely coming up.
Okay.
Just real, before we get into spoilers, just real like overview, like, what'd you like about the game? What didn't you like about the game before we get into the nitty gritty?
Right on. I did not like the controls on the controller.
Did not.
Mouse, 100% full set. That's correct. I did not like the way that it controls on a controller. I got used to it and became acceptable, but I didn't love it. That said, if you can play with a mouse, it is so silky smooth. That's the way to do this 100%. I actually bounced off this game. It is totally. I mean, I think that's because this DVD has
Yeah.
And the same would be for your for the Switch as well, because you can do some screen tapping, that kind of thing. Steamy D
Can't
has
speak for the
the
speed.
trackpads, and I think there's probably some loading that happens. It's my understanding that the Switch version crashes from time to time.
That would kill me.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
That would kill me, dude.
When I first tried this game, I bounced off of it, and when I was about 3 hours into it, it just wasn't working for me. I was like going around, I was clicking things, I was like, trying to figure out what to do. I was just exploring everything, and I was like, there's nothing, it's not grabbing me. Like, I didn't. But then I got to a point in the investigation where all the dialogue that I was having was coming together, and it was pulling in all these experiences that I had from just clicking all over the place, and like all the like shit that I thought was pointless was being fed into the story, and it was so rewarding.
Really, really helpless when you first start playing, and it's
totally
almost frustrating. You're like, I feel stupid, but then
clicks.
Once it does click, and once you do find any amount of footing, it feels really good. Like
totally,
it gets you thinking a lot. But you do start like you're thrown in the pool, and your character comes up from a stupor and is like, what's going on? And you're like, I don't know, you're the video game, you're telling me what to do. And it's like, yeah, you'll figure it out.
Right.
I was just a derp from the beginning, which helped with that a little bit, but I had a similar experience where the first opening amount of playthrough was rough. But I'm also a sucker for the isometric view and like environments.
Sure.
How did you feel about, other than navigating it? Because there was times when I was using the joystick trying to get my guy to move around, and I was like, oh my God. But other than that, like, how do you feel about that art style in general?
I like it. I think it's a very like good looking game. I think it's like stylized in a way that I really enjoyed. It's a little gritty. The isometric view that you bring up, I think, works really well for this, for navigating around the map. You can zoom out and kind of like get and you can really zoom in close, which is cool too.
Yeah.
I think it works quite well. And I think, like, I don't know.
Do you know what those shoebox projects are called? Like growing up as a kid, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, a diorama.
Yeah, dude, I love that diorama style. Fucking isometric view. My bad to cut you off, but I needed
it's good.
Nerd point in there.
I could dig it, man. Like I think it looks real good. I really like the character portraits. I think are done really well. Mm-hmm. I think everything art wise about this game is on point.
Yeah, and another shout out.
The music too.
To the music and the voice acting, because once again, it's a lot of fun to listen to, and it's really engrossing. There's times where there is really weird dialogue and noises being made, and I was like looking over, because once again, I ride dirty and I hit it raw. Everyone gets to hear my audio, no headphones. So Trisha occasionally was
You're wild.
She was just like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, I was wondering when this was going to treat me with this unhinged ass dialogue. I wondered what it would take. All of that is like crazy. So if you're thinking about a game like this, we say definitely play it. If you're just looking for a super awesome experience, even if you're not a heavy reader, you can listen and it really helps you out. And it's just unraveling that mystery for someone who gets frustrated by that. It starts to feel supernatural and super like super gratifying once you start pulling at that thread.
Totally.
And figuring. There's some moments I was pissed, but other than that, dude, it's extremely gratifying to have this story unravel.
Yeah, dog. I think it's got to be, for me, dude. I mean, I know that I said like when you early in the ep, when you asked me like what I thought of it, is in my top, is it in my upper ep, is it on my Mount Rushmore? Like, I don't know that yet. But I will say,
of this genre, it's got to be.
Oh yeah, I just don't know how many of the games I've played in this genre. I mean, I guess a bunch, but yeah, no, totally. I mean, of this, yeah, there's no way I could argue against that. I think Baldur's Gate 3 would be I haven't even touched that game yet, and from what I can tell, like that might have an edge on this, but who knows? I have to give that a shot. I think even though it's not on my Mount Rushmore, I'd still say that this is like five empty whiskey bottles out of 5 empty whiskey bottles, bro. Like this is what it's got to be.
It's a full pack of smokes, dude.
Right.
It's a full pack of smokes.
And to whom I would recommend, I mean, anybody that's into role playing, anybody that likes a crunchy like RPG, a CP or what is it? CRPG.
I invented the crunchy alternate.
Yeah, right.
Credit to me.
I think
it's good for like a non-gamer to some degree.
I know that like me personally, like I'm really interested in like gaming like as an art form, and like when you look at the top list, like I'm always interested in the like, okay, everybody like this game is highly lauded, like I would like to know why. And I think that it's worth finding out why. This game is worth playing for anybody that wants to play some of the best games ever made. Like this is going to be a part of that conversation. So if that's something that intrigues you, like 100% go for it. I think it also, like if you're someone that maybe isn't super into like reading books or whatever, like if you're looking for an experience that's going to be very similar to like reading a book, but like choose your own adventure basically, like this might do that for you.
Yeah. So strong recommends from both, and what we've really been waiting for to those of us who have played it already, because we're pretty late to this party. Duh, spoilers, dude.
Yeah.
So Al's gonna put up an official spoiler wall, and we're gonna get into some, probably not even the nitty gritty to those who have played it a few times. We're probably gonna give you baby's first adventure, but that's okay, dude. That's what we are here today.
Believe that. Hey, if you made it this far, go check out this game. Throw it on your wish list. Buy it when it's on sale.
Yeah,
Try and play this game at some point. It is so worth it. You are definitely welcome to come into the spoiler section, but if you want to stay unspoiled, just scrub all the way to the timestamp that I will insert here. Come back for our unsanctioned sponsor, as well as our side quests.
Hell yeah.
You can scrub through to the 60-minute mark.
All right, so you mentioned it already. What was your build?
Dude, I can't remember what the build choices were.
I'm so glad we postponed this. I'll lead off with mine. I decided to be an absolute bonehead moron. I put up all so there's the general overview of what I can remember was there is intelligence, there's emotional intelligence, and then there is like physicals. And I just decided,
intellect, psyche, physique, and motorics.
Yes, and there's some differentiation between all of them, but I just generally decided that I was going to be like a big, strong dum-dum, and I was going to barrel through the world as a big, strong dum-dum. And this game definitely allows you to do that. It makes it where I did not get into a lot of the political heavy stuff because I didn't give a fuck, both in real life and in this playthrough. I was like, my dude's a big, muscular dum-dum. Although...
Dude, holler at Ace. Boing. Dude hit up the Discord and was like, I can't wait for the most politically charged podcast to date. And dude, I approached this game so centrist.
Yeah, dude. Anytime anyone was like, dude, communism, I was like, whatever. And they're like,
dude, it got to the point in the game. The game like had these dude, it got to the point in the game where it was like it was teasing me for being so centrist. And like some of the choices would be like straight up, like, I'm just not gonna choose. Like, I'm gonna stick right in the middle.
Yeah, the game is is the word facetious? Am I pronouncing and using incorrect context?
Yeah.
The writing is incredibly like, dude, they're teasing the shit out of you. They're fucking like snarky. They're kind of just fucking with you all the time. The writing's crazy like that. So I went in as this bonehead, and the first thing you can do is like, you talk to this lady and you're like, you want to sex me? You want a sexy good time? And then it's like, you're a superstar cop. I'm like, I'm a fucking star. Don't you know me? And I was like, I
leaned into the superstar stuff because that was fun.
Yeah, I was full psychopath. And then there's like an ashtray and you're like, man, those smokes look fucking good. And I was like, yeah, they fucking do, dude. And,
dude, I did the same thing. We like approached it very similarly. As the game went on, I like became like, I started like kind of having a character arc. If I were to replay, I would lean into just the ridiculousness, I think.
I think I would go full communist the next time I play, and I'd be super smart and snarky to people. That's how I think I would do it, because
So,
the centrist route, I never picked a side. I avoided some
Right.
side quests because I didn't want to deal with some shit. And I kind of wish I didn't. Specifically the Union. I did
Okay.
one mission for the Union boss, and he was so greasy and mean. When he makes you sit in that chair, did you sit in the chair, dude?
Yeah. No, I think I opted to just stand and power through.
Dude, because I finally, like, after the third prompt, I sat in the chair, and then later on it gave me a dice roll, and it gave me some negative towards the dice roll because I sat in the chair, and he basically owned me, and I was like, oh, I didn't want to sit in the chair.
That's
But
clowning.
he Darth Vaders you, where he keeps changing the deal on you. Did you ever like do
Mhm.
the second thing, get people to get the signatures, or were you like, fuck that?
I got the homeless folks that are always drinking to forge some signatures.
Oh, really? So you had them do everyone else's signature?
No, just like their own SIGs, but I didn't get the correct SIGs. So you actually, I'm not sure, like, from my knowledge, like you don't actually see how that plays out. But I went and I talked to the folks that you need the signatures from, and then I opted not to get them because I was like, fuck this. Like,
Yeah, I felt
just
too
go-
greasy about it.
yeah, I was like, fuck these people over. But then like I did want to close that side quest, so I ended up talking to the homeless dudes, and they signed it. So I'm not entirely like I'm not sure how that's going to play out in the future, to be honest. But
Did
I
you
think
give it to the mob boss, or excuse me?
I sent it in the
Union
mail.
boss?
Yeah, put it in the
Oh,
mail.
okay. So did you get your gun back from him or no?
I didn't get it from him. I got it from the pigs.
You got it from the cops?
This didn't play out this way for you, huh?
No, dude. So my gun, I lost my. You lose your gun as a part of the game, and it's like super embarrassing. And I told the station,
and your badge and everything.
Yeah,
like,
I found a badge, but eventually, but only after I did it. Some dirty deeds for the corpo lady, but that was actually good intel, so I don't regret that. You go to the pawn shop owner who's like some war vet who's like high on some shit he says he uses to cope, and you're like, okay, that's interesting. And then he says he got rid of your gun, and then the union boss lets on like he has your gun, but he has you do these side quests that he feels greasy and like you're gonna never get your gun from him. So I don't actually know if he has his gun. I'm sure he might. People know, but I don't.
So you didn't get the gun because you didn't.
I got the lady who offed herself a gun. I got her gun. Did she off
Oh,
herself
funny.
to you, or did you save her?
I had that gun too. No, I saved her, or I let her go rather. So when she had the gun in her mouth, I talked her out of doing that, and then I let her free.
I did not. I had good physics, so I was like, I'm gonna smash this stupid fucking machine. And then she's just like, well, yeah, she attacks you with like some sound frequencies or something.
Yeah, I hit that thing too, dude. So I did get the gun, my gun back, or Harry's gun. His name ends up being Harry.
Yes, Harry Dubois.
Yeah. So I could because I completed that task where I did mail. I mailed the forged paperwork, but I was able to. He gives you a contact to meet, and she's it's this crazy woman that goes by the pig. Like, she calls herself the pigs. She's like this woman that's had a mental break. She has this like battery packed sirens and like cop lights on her back.
Where
and
is she?
You meet her at like 2:00 in the morning or midnight or something like that in north of the fishing village at the old boardwalk area.
Oh.
And she's just got the sirens blaring.
How did you stay up that late? Did you go to the bench or something?
Yeah, I think I know for that. I think I just like I did so much side questions and stuff. I just burned time. And it like takes a long time to get there. And I think because Kim was with me, because you can only pass time when Kim's not there. Stuff. Yeah, so you can only fast forward in time if Kim's not with you, because if he's with you, it's like, oh, we should like be working on this case. So I went over to her, and she's like, it's this whole big ordeal. And long story short, it was like, it's a wild scene, dude. But I ended up getting the gun back. She tried shooting me, but it was out of bullets. And so she like has a breakdown, and then you end up going to get so you get your gun back, and then you go tell Titus and the crew to like go help this woman out.
All right, that's crazy. There's tons of stuff in there that I didn't do then. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, I did the Superstar cop path.
Yeah.
And it's almost like perks or like these events, and like you can, instead of upgrading your skills, you can like choose, and like you'll have a momentary deduction and a momentary like sometimes benefit, sometimes nothing. And a certain amount of time passes before it sets in, before it's realized. But like,
so they call it a thought cabinet.
Okay, fair enough. Yes. And like, I guess we should mention, I never knew how to describe it, but like
There's
all
a
of your
skill
different
tree.
skills are based off of your motor functions or like
Yep.
psychiatric
So the
terms.
so the character sheet is like basically one skill tree, and that's broken into intellect, physique, psyche, and motorics. And that is like, so your base build, you said you're like really into the physical. I think I did middle because like my intellect was pretty low, my motorics pretty low, but my psyche and my physique were pretty high. So which is like a weird balance to be honest. But and then as you go
Right.
play out, you get skill points and you can level those up, or you can use your skill points to level up the thought cabinets. Where as you play this game, you'll encounter different things and you'll start to have this thought, and then you can choose if it's something that you want. Do you want to take on this like whatever? Do you want to take on this thought
Personality
or whatever?
almost. Yeah.
Right. And then so there's a ton of them, but you get, I think there's 12 in total in this tree that you have to unlock. And then you have to spend another skill point I'm not sure if you have to do two of it. It doesn't matter. So you unlock these things and then you can choose one of those thoughts, and like user getting at is there's a time, right?
Yeah.
So like once you choose whatever this thing, there's the problem. So you have to think about it. And what that does is it has a negative effect typically on you while you're like thinking through this for a half hour up to like, I don't know. I think the longest one I did was like 12 hours or something. And it was, it was bogus. Yeah. So like, so once you realize them, there's a solution. The solutions will come with bonuses from your thoughts, which will have some negative effects and some positive effects, which are going to affect that original skill tree that I was talking about. It's a really interesting system. A lot of cool stuff you can go into.
Skill tree is it's almost like within psyche, it's like different psychiatric like phrases. Like
so for instance, like on intellect, you have a logic bucket, encyclopedia, rhetoric, drama, conceptualization, and visual calculus. And each of those, as you like increase them, are going to give you different boons in your conversations. So when you roll the dice, you have it's a lot like D&D or whatever, right? So you have like a certain skill set, but then you have your dice roll, and basically any time that you're having a conversation and there's like a fork, they'll be like, or they'll call it a challenge, right? So if you have like, let's say to beat the challenge, you need to have a score of like 12. So it takes your built-in points, your dice roll, and then also if you roll like, this is one of those weird things with a computer game like this. Like if you roll a snake eyes, it's an automatic failure. If you roll double sixes, it's an automatic pass. So like that's thrown in there too. It's pretty interesting. But it's cool, man. It was a little overwhelming at first, but after 15, 20 hours in, it's you get a hang of it.
Overwhelming. But you get it, especially with the thought cabinet. It's like I wish I would have taken advantage of some of that earlier, but it's all good.
The thought cabinet stuff is cool for the role playing, I think, too. The one that I can't remember what it's called right now, but it was like took me forever to learn it or to like conceptualize and then get the boon. And it was essentially like it made it so that Harry would be sober, which I was like, that's cool because that's kind of how I was playing this. Like I dabbled in some drink early on, and I traveled with some speed when I needed when I felt like it. But overall, like I wasn't really doing the drugs
and consumption when Kim was gone because psychologically I felt better about that, not judged. But continue.
Yeah, so it's like, I kind of like as the game progressed, the way that I was role playing it is that, I was kind of getting more and more like grasp over my facilities. And I was like, okay, like I'm just not going to get into the drink or the drugs or whatever unless like there was something particularly interesting happening in the game to do that. But it was something like at the end of the game, there's a cool little breakdown that happens that kind of goes over the type of character that you were. And I was a little frustrated in that because the whole time I was playing this game, I was like, it'd be so cool to see like a visual representation of what your choices and your path was. They don't have that, but that's like, that's just me being like, oh, I wish I had some visual data here. But they do give you that, the conversational data that goes through. And Kim, for me, this is a spoiler, but we're in the spoiler section. Like you can lose, like you can end up having Kim. There's a tribunal where there's like all the dudes that are basically originally thought to be the ones who are the murderers, like this hanging that happens, they're kind of like the police of this town or whatever. And then there's these mercenaries that come in. There's a big standoff, right?
Yeah,
during that standoff,
they're hired by the corpos. The communists are kind of represented by that faction.
Right.
Yeah. The police.
So like there's a few branches there, major ones, and the major one is that I'm keying in on here is the one with Kim. So you can either warn Kim that he's about to be attacked, and then he basically gets out of the way, or he gets shot and goes to the hospital, and you have to finish the game without Kim. Which one did you get?
Isn't that the one that Rick said the dice roll doesn't matter and he always gets shot?
No, he might always get no, because like he didn't get shot in mine. I got shot twice.
Oh, because I had like a 90% success rate on it and he got shot. So I was actually super pissed.
You just hit that 10%, bro.
I guess,
So did you get to finish? Did you get to play with Kuno then?
I sure did.
That's
Sure
great.
did, dude.
Fuck are you talking to, clown? Fuck does Kuno care?
I was curious. So I finished with Kim, and I think that's. I was poking around the internet. A lot of people think that's the way. Kim's all right. Some people like fucking love Kim.
I loved Kim. Kim
I
was
think he's cool.
Kim was my sober daddy.
He kind of a boner sometimes. I'm like, come on, man, put on this jacket.
Yeah, but I was such a big mess. I wanted to be better for Kim, dude.
That's true. Same.
He was the big homie, dude. I was super salty because I shot a dude in the face in the tribunal because it was like something that actually used the motoronics stuff that I put so much into well. So I never really got to like punch or intimidate people. I don't know how to activate that.
Interesting.
Other than Kuno, who I save scummed so I could punch him in the fucking face successfully.
Nice.
So I had to do that. But no, I shot the dude in the face and then there was some other shooting and then it like the ridiculously high chance of success failed and then Kim got shot and I was salty as fuck.
Yeah, so he did get shot in my playthrough. I actually ended up being able to I got a Chivo near the end game because I was able to recruit Kim to Precinct 57.
Oh, you know who I recruited, dude?
Tell me. I think I do.
Fucking Junior Officer Kuno, dude.
Yeah.
They're like, no, this kid's like calling me like homophobic slurs all the time. I was like, dog, this is all he got.
Yeah.
Like Kuno, and I had quite the redemption arc with Kuno. I earned his respect over time.
Same, but I didn't get to do
so deeply in the opening hour of this game. I wanted him to be. I punched him in the face. I saved Scum so I could punch him in the face. Then I saved his life. So talk about an arc right there, dude.
I mean, he's a boner.
Well, dude,
but he ends up. I don't know. It's kind of he's endearing.
All OD'd and dead, and
I know it's sad.
Does his little art projects, and Kuno, he's gonna be a good cop someday, dude.
Yeah. Oh man. So did you get to find out then, like, what your previous backstory was? Did you like, for instance, like Harrier for me, like you find out he was a gym teacher.
Yeah,
like that kind of shit. Okay,
fell in love with some girl that didn't love him back. She's like really hot or something.
F that story, dude. That's for that. Like that was one of my biggest qualms with like the story of this game is like I could tell, I knew because that's like a big part of it, dude. Like he's like has all these like his memory's gone, and it's like I think it's partially because of the drinking, and then it's partially because of like heavy trauma around his like relationship that failed. And like for me, like I was like, cool, man. Like I'm beyond that. Like let's just not focus on that too heavily. And the game like really like makes, and it's, I don't know, I was just like, I'm making choices for my character so that he can like move past this, and it wouldn't allow you to.
It's also interesting that you are like a superstar cop. So like I think Kim, as much as in the beginning of the game, I'm like, I'm the biggest piece in the mess in the world. I think you do have like a super positive, you have a super negative, but you have like a super positive reputation as far as like, there's the one lady who ends up offing herself in my playthrough. That was bummer. I didn't like that. That was a desire to save Scum too, but I was like, nope, sorry, man.
Sure.
But she was like, she calls you like the can opener or something. Like she knew that you were going to get to the bottom of this case because you just have a way with people. You just keep prying and learning stuff you're not supposed to learn. And like, you're like something like debutante or something where you, what is the phrasing? It doesn't matter, but like you turn down promotions to be a leader twice. So you're just like an extremely decorated detective for solving way too many cases. So like, I liked that I was the sloppy, like, that's why like I enjoyed the superstar cop bullshit and the hobo cop bullshit. I just liked to think of myself as a super unorthodox, shitty, awesome detective. Like I kind of liked that part of the role play. So him being a loser who rents weird and sad movies and misses his ex-girlfriend that wouldn't marry him because he was too poor or something. I was into all that.
I thought it was, I don't know. I just wanted to move. I was like, for me, I was like role playing this like big redemption arc. And like that just, it wouldn't let me get past that.
Yes, Tequila Sunset.
Like, dude, I enjoyed that part. That was fun too. But I was kind of weird about my playthrough, dude. Like I definitely like, I kind of like had this like sober up thing. But then I brought it up earlier. I did that boon, but it had so many negative effects on everything else that I was like, I forgot it. So like I opted to like lose that boon, which is a huge waste of time. But I was like, that's stupid. But circling back, I'm interested during that talk. So at Endgame, when you're having the talk with the other folks from your precinct, and then like the psych guy, for me, like Kim comes in and kind of gives a breakdown of my merits and like everything I did throughout the game. And I thought that was really cool. That was like that was kind of that thing I was hoping to see, is like, okay, like it's feeding me a synopsis of my playthrough. I was hoping to see it like visually represented, but I'm very happy that it was part of the story. But one thing, because I'm such a click monster and I wanted to do everything and I exhausted so many dialogue options, he was like, he's kind of a racist. I was like, no, I was such an ally the whole time, except for one time. and like, so like, and then there's another thing, because I called the woman that you mentioned in the beginning, when you're like, I want to fuck, or like, what does he say? He says something ridiculous. He's like,
Yeah.
I did that because I was just being sloppy and ridiculous at the beginning, and I called her a bitch. And then so like that was another thing that Kim brought up. Even though the rest of the game, I was like really like,
Kim doesn't forget.
Dude, no, he does not. And he was like, and he hates women. I was like, dude, that one time.
All it takes, Al. True colors.
No.
The dude sitting on the fence who like works for the union. It's like, okay, my racist friend. I was like, I don't know the deep lore of this game. Like, I swear I picked some option that I didn't even like realize.
Well, there's the big tough guy that's on the top of that. The big tough guy that's like really doing the whole the racism stuff. Like, there's a few this game can be really racist. This is weird, and it's weird that you can lean into it a little bit if you choose to do so. But there's the one guy that's like all into his race theory, and I think because I think that's partially why I got that comment, is because I exhausted all of his dialogue stuff. And I think there's like the racist driver too, the like chubby guy by the magazine rack. I think I exhausted all his dialogue stuff too, and that probably was part of that too. I'm curious, did you meet the dice lady?
Say more.
So in the commercial district, like the Doom commercial district, she has like a studio on top of the building that you have to like go kind of a roundabout way to go up there. And then you find out that like, because the bookshop owner thinks that there's like this like, that this thing's like haunted or something like that. But it turns out that there's actually a woman that lives and works up there, that she makes dice.
I did not.
Okay. I was curious because you can buy dice from her, but they're super expensive. They're like $50. And then like, I've never had $50.
I asked that lady, the corpo lady, for like $100, and she just did, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Oh, she gave it to you?
She gave me money, dude.
Tight.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious,
dude. You brought up the shipping container. I was able to get it to open.
Yeah,
and there's I don't remember. It's like a dice roll. I think I saved Scum to do it, to be honest. But here's the deal: like, so we mentioned earlier that you can wear all these. So not only do you have your skill tree. That will give you different boons to help in certain, because you can look and it will tell you what skill needs to be high for the particular challenge.
Sure.
So like I would look at that and then I would leave the dialogue options and go into my inventory, and then I'd like sift through my clothes and items to see which would give me that boon.
That. Yeah.
Right. And then I would go back to it, like, and you'd have a better percent chance of winning. So I got my percent chance of like way higher to over 50%, and then I say Scum to open it.
Once you get
in there, dude,
for dressing like a psychopath. By the way, it's really funny.
You do. I got
Different
that too.
People
at one point.
make fun of you. They're like, "Dude, dress like a cop, you asshole." But
that's clowning. I got it from Kim once.
Yeah, Kim and the detectives at the end were like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So I got in there, and there's a dude in there, but it's crazy because there's like this psychedelic time bending thing going on. But it's one of the weird like things, because this game is very much from Harry's point of view. So you end up through the dialogue, you find out that Kim's not seeing the same thing. He's just seeing some like weird dude hanging out inside of the like in the storage container. But me, I'm seeing this like psychedelic time bending weird thing of like a multi-billionaire like crazy dude that just like hangs out in the storage container. And like you can talk to him, and I don't know for sure what happens is if you like, because there ends up being some challenges with him. Where you basically, I think you can like play the stock market or something ridiculous. I don't know, because I wasn't able to get to that. But you can, I think, make a lot of money if you do that way. And it was just like an interesting little scene. There's so much stuff in this game, dude.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Did you talk to everybody? Talks to the Phasmin at the end, right?
No, but I did.
You didn't?
No, I did. but
Oh.
not everybody does. You have to be following the Phasmid path like in the first place to even get that.
I didn't know what it added. I was kind of like pretty ready for the end. That was wild though. And then Kuno's
Dude,
like, when you said that like Kim was going over all your merits to the cops, like Kuno was doing that for me, and then he's like, and we saw the biggest fucking, it's a new fucking creature, dude. And he's just breaking it down like a fucking meth addict 12-year-old would, and it was really funny to me. And I was like, don't bring that up. They're not gonna believe us now. So it's actually
so Kim takes a picture of it.
Oh,
so you can get Kim to take a picture of it. He's got a Polaroid camera, so you like show show everybody that you like found this thing. It's pretty dope. So weird though, dude. Like the game, like totally. I was like, first of all, I don't know if I was upset, but I was like, really, the actual perp is just some random dude that you never meet in the entire game until you hit the island. Which
everything felt perfectly intertwined to such a degree. So at the end, that it's a guy that's been there the whole time and intertwined with everything, it still felt, for everything had been written so perfectly, it felt a little cheap.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was bad.
Pull this together in like a perfect way. So they have a sort of impartial, not actually tied into the commentary as much.
Sure.
I don't know.
There's just no, and like the thing is like, I don't know, what's the perfect detective story? Like, I'm not really sure. We got there, right? But it was just like, I agree with you when you say it's a little cheap, like just because it's like, well, okay, so like we figured out the case and it was just because we made it to the island, but I had no option to go to the island earlier, like, which is fine. It's whatever. I was just kind of like, oh, all right, this is the guy. Because the whole, like in the whole process, you're playing like, you're like 25 hours into this game. You had that big tribunal where shit hits the fan that I was talking about. And then you find your way on this thing. And then it's just like, it feels like everything's boiling up, and it's really like a big whodunit, because you have the option to like blame different people and all this stuff. And then like when the whodunit is someone that, and actually one of the options is you can even say like, I think it's someone that's not related to anybody here. And that's what I said. Like, cause I was just like trying to talk my way out of a situation. And that ends up being what it is, but I think it's fine.
I just
but
shot
it was
a guy
just
in
like,
the face as soon as I could. I was like, well, before
dude,
anyone else gets shot, might as well
so
shoot
you were holding the
face.
gun. You were holding the gun,
Yeah.
and I was holding. Did you do the necktie thing? Did the necktie and the spirits like get to you?
I don't think so.
So you find some ridiculous like high alcohol content spirits at some point, and the whole thing is like, just hold on to me, and the necktie is like, hold on, and then you'll know when to use it or whatever.
Where'd you
So
find
after the scene where you picked up the gun, I'm leaving that whole altercation, and then the necktie is like, now's the time, because the necktie's got like this weird voice. It's crazy. So it's talking to you. You talk to the necktie throughout, right? You know what I'm talking about. The necktie never talked to you?
Is that a thought cabinet thing you put in?
Dog. It's like the original clothing piece that you wear. I think it's because it must be one of my
thought cabinet deals.
Yeah, it could be the thought cabinet, or it could be because like my psych attributes are so high.
Yeah, my emotional intelligence wasn't very high.
I think it might be my conceptualization was so high, or maybe it was because of it might have been my inland. Dude, my inland empire is a 10. I think that's why. So, so I have the crazy tie that was with me throughout that like talks to you. And at one point, the crazy tie is like, now's the time. And he's like, take out the bottle. So I take out the bottle. He's like, no, put me in the bottle. And I was like, okay, put me in the bottle. And then just listen to the, what is it? That's wild, dude. Like finding out this type of stuff is what makes me want to play this game again. Like it's just so all the different things.
My Inland Empire was a 3.
Yeah, dude. That's my
only 12 was Half-Life because I wanted to fucking fight things.
Interesting.
Yeah, dude. I was super high. So when I got such a high percentage to shoot the guy in the face, I was like, let's fucking go, dude.
Yeah. So the whole tie thing though. So it puts in the bottle and then it's like, okay, like you'll know when to use me. And then sure enough, like what it is, it ends up being, and Kim's like, what are you doing? And you're like, I don't know, but I'm excited. One of the choices is like, I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. And then he's like, yeah, me too. Fucking weirdo. and then at the altercation, it ends up being a Molotov cocktail. So I equipped that. And when I had the chance where you had the gun and had the chance to shoot, I had the chance to throw a Molotov cocktail at him. And I similarly, I wonder if this is one of the things in the games where it doesn't matter because I missed, but I had a good chance of hitting him. It was great. It wasn't great, but it was like, it was over. I want to say it was over 60, over 70, which, I thought I would get it. But I missed. I threw it over him, and then it was like a fucking firestorm, and like everybody was getting shot. But it's so yeah. I had a Molotov cocktail there. How many people died at that? That was something I was curious about. For you,
a few for the union that I don't remember their names, but the one union guy was pretty bummed about it, and then at least one or two of because is there 3 or 4 mercenaries? I want to say there's 3 left.
There's 3.
Like, did you discover the one before the tribunal? Did you know about all 3? Yeah. So
because when I got there, they're like, "Oh, there's a third one."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can find him first. I knew one of the guys was the mercenary, but I never actually saw the other one.
So so I don't recall for the mercenaries who I think they get pretty injured or whatever. I'm not sure if they die or whatever, but for the actual like town folk, I had 6 in total die. Like a bunch of people died.
Damn. Who?
Yeah, it was a shit show.
Anybody like that I would remember?
What's his name? Tiberius, or what's to do with the T? The leader.
Titus
dies. Pretty much every time. So the big fat guy dies. Titus dies.
And I finally reached an understanding. We were pretty cool with each other.
Yeah, we were all right too, but he died. Did he die for you?
Nope.
Interesting. Yeah,
some side pieces in his whole thing died, but not some of the main ones.
Dude, 6.
Did you
only 2 of them were left?
Did you solve the murder or the death at the dock and then tell his wife?
I did, yeah.
That was a bummer. And then Kuno was such a good character arc of a little psychopath. I'm trying to think if there's any other loose ends to really mention.
You go on the date with the lady in the fish town?
No, I had a low chance because Kim was cramping my style. But
I did it when Kim goes to brings the body back to the precinct or something like that. So that's when I took my opportunity.
How was your chance? My chance was super low.
I put on all the right clothes. I had a good chance.
Okay, how's that date? Was it awkward?
I was cute, dude. They like went on a walk. They talked and like they don't like I thought it was really nice for it. That's what I'm telling you, man. I was like, we're pushing through, Harry. We're getting beyond this fucking lovesick bullshit. Like, that's why I was like that kind of stuff. I was like, man, I'm helping this dude. I'm helping him get by. And then when you don't, it's I don't know. I was just bummed.
Did you get along with the old war vets?
Not really.
Did you throw
threw their ball?
Yeah. Because I'm a muscle build, so I was like, "Oh, this is something I can finally do." And then they're like, "Hey, fucking jackass!" And I was like,
"Yeah."
Oh,
and then
no.
I found another like replacement for him, and he was all pissed. And the other dude's like, "At least he tried."
Impressed, yeah.
But then the one dude dies. Did he die for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, and not cool. It kind of sucked, but I was like, "Oh shit, those guys were interesting." Dude, we'd be remiss if we don't bring up the rave dudes.
Yeah, I never really got to the bottom of that. As far as I knew, they were making fucking drugs, but I couldn't call them out on it because my Harry wasn't smart enough to piece that together. I like failed the check. I was like, that's really annoying.
I don't know if they're probably making drugs. I don't know. Like for me, they're just like rave culture dudes, man. Like
they're definitely cooking drugs in their tent.
Well, yeah, it's
and then the church and the dead spot and all that stuff. Yeah,
that stuff was weird. I think I have more to unearth there. That was an interesting little bit. I did a bunch of it though. Did you get to dance with the music or whatever? Like where you just like cuts loose?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was fun.
And then there's this, the games. That's where some of it's weird is you're like, how much of this is about the story and how much is this just about this kooky little town that you can explore? And I did a lot of those side quests thinking that I was potentially maybe solving the murder, and I just wasn't.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I got pretty into the side quests when Kim left. I was like, there's a bunch of stuff. And there's a couple things where they're like, I think you should probably have Kim around for this. So like everything that I couldn't, I like was crossing off.
I'm assuming you never got in that bunker door?
No. Did you?
Okay, no. There's got to be a way in, but
they make mention of it at the end game. Like,
yeah, fucking Hermit Man uses it, but
yeah,
that's about it. Well, all right, man. That pretty much wraps it up for me. I will play again, probably as a communist, definitely as a high intelligence, low muscle, opposite build, and then really fuck around with the dialogue way more than I did. How about you?
I can dig it, man. I'm going to give it a break. I'm going to give it a long break and work on some other things in my backlog, but I'll return to it someday. And I think I'll try and play it the way I was saying earlier. I'm going to try and really lean into a true role play as opposed to like trying to min-max. because I think it's about going with the flow. It's a very big story game, man, and I think that when I play again, that's how I'm going to do it.
Fuck yeah, man.
Right on. Well, with that, let's take a little break. Come back with some unsatiable sponsor.
This month, we've been brought to you by Dad Rock.
Ooh.
How you feel about Dad Rock, Dad?
Dude, I mess with some Dad Rock, some Steely Dan.
Steely Dan is an excellent example of some Dad Rock. Dad Rock, as loosely defined as rock and roll your father would probably have listened to, aka just rock that is aged a little bit and isn't particularly edgy. I've been thinking a lot as to what constitutes Dad Rock, and it's truly, there's Dad Rock being made right now. It just has to be mellow enough to not be like super vulgar, I think is really important. But I bring all this up because I do a music book club with a buddy, similar to this format, just not in podcasts, where we just pick different themes for 2 weeks and then we just kind of talk about the music we're listening to. And we went on a stretch of Neil Young to fucking Allman Brothers to fucking REM, and my Subaru was just a Dad Rock machine. And dude, you've never felt more stereotypical in your Subaru than when you're driving a fucking REM. It was a specific dad vibe. But you know what, man? Fuck, man, I just want to drink beer and whiskey and listen to Dad Rock. It's a good fucking time, dude.
You mentioned some good ones, bro. Some good ones.
Yeah.
You didn't put the Boss in there. You guys haven't covered the Boss yet?
No, it hasn't been that long. And also, Bruce Springsteen's, that's a very, very specific Dad Rock, but it's definitely some Dad Rock, dude.
Dude,
I went into our Dad's Rock with the Allman Brothers. Didn't know that old Daddy Pants is quite the Allman Brothers fan. So that was like, we both have a little bit of some jam roots in us with some Grateful Dead and some other things. So Allman Brothers, I felt like I was checking multiple boxes there.
Yeah, Allman Brothers are nice. How about Fleetwood Mac? You guys do that yet?
Dude, Fleetwood Mac, controversial. Is it Dad Rock or is that Mom Rock, dude? You know what I'm saying, dude?
That's tough. Yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying, dude? I'm
gonna keep it in there though.
Stevie Nicks should start a show, dude. That's Mom Rock, dude.
I'm down with some Stevie Nicks. Eric Clapton. You guys do Clapton yet?
This is short lived. This is only been
giving you ideas right now, bro.
Yeah, no. I mean, if I was just like truly going down the dad rock vibe, I think some fucking. When he selected REM, I laughed and I said it was only a matter of time before we covered REM or Wilco. I just didn't know which one was going to be first. So maybe I just got to throw out some Wilco because these are all different bands that I know of being famous, but like maybe I just never took the deep dive and I am not from the era, right? Or maybe sometimes if it's modern music, you just might have missed the movement and now you're looking back on it with some hindsight. So it's been a lot of fun. It's some easy
Lynyrd Skynyrd, bro? A little Lynyrd Skynyrd?
I'd have an open mind. I bet you I'd like their cuts way better than what I know.
I mean, you're not going to catch me like listen to them all the time, but
I don't want to hear Freebird, but I'm sure some of the other shit hits really hard.
Right.
So I'm just, just in my Dad Rock era.
Dude, I'm going to bring up one more.
Sure.
Pink Floyd Dad Rock.
Okay. Yes, but also is Pink Floyd, like, let's delegate this. Is Pink Floyd easy enough listening to be considered Dad Rock, or is it too experimental and like
you need to differentiate? We should differentiate. Are you talking like Dad Rock and Yacht Rock?
Okay, I said easy listening too many times to kind of get you closer to Yacht Rock. Not that I don't love Margo McDonald. Love me some Yacht Rock too. Like guilty as charged with Yacht Rock, but I just kind of mean like I was listening to Queens of the Stone Age today. Queens of the Stone Age is not going to be Dad Rock because it's a little too grimy to be Dad Rock. You know what I mean?
Butt rock.
The Queens of the Stone Age is not butt rock, dude. Let's settle fuck down on that, dude. Maybe dad metal if we're going to get.
I love Queens of the Stone Age, dude. I've seen them live.
Yeah, I know. I was listening to the Songs for the Deaf, which you had when you were in high school, and I was like pre-middle school, and I was like, yeah, I like this. This isn't scary. I like 2 songs that aren't weird, but the rest of it's actually pretty good. But anyway, so the easy.
I bring up Pink Floyd for this though.
Not vulgar, not too weird, not too experimental. Like
the reason I bring up Pink Floyd is this.
Yeah,
I think you could include it in Dad Rock, but you bring up Fleetwood Mac. Is that Mom Rock? Mom had a big ass Pink Floyd collection. Her like she was super into Pink Floyd back in the day.
Are you sure about that?
100%. Ask her.
Did you steal all their Pink Floyd albums?
She actually lost a bunch of them, and I did steal The Wall.
Okay. What else have you stolen, you dick?
The White Album.
Beatles? Okay, wow.
And that's about it. You've pilfered more than I have. Oh, the Christmas albums.
Yeah, you did. It's probably equal. Anyway, Pink Floyd, less dad rock, but Led Zeppelin, extreme dad rock. You get the difference here? Like, I feel like there's a commercialability that also plays in. And, like, would you listen to this rock with your kid in the car later on in life when it's, but like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, epitome of dad rock now, if you think about it. Like, from our childhoods, like, when our childrens are listening to our music from the past, if they were to unearth our odd obsession, not odd, it was on brand, obsession with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, that's extremely, like, dad rockish now. So, this isn't a music podcast. If it was, it'd be a pretty sloppy one, but we have been brought to you by Dad Rock, because I've just been jamming in the Subaru like a total dad. And Father's Day is coming up, so it was just fitting in so many ways.
I can dig it, man.
Yeah.
Dad Rock.
Dad Rock, dude. It's being made every day.
Welcome back, everybody. Have we been doing some side question? You've been side questing, bro?
Yeah, aggressively as fuck. I don't know where to start or stop.
Oh, I guess we did have 2 months to burn through this one.
I know. So I've like forgotten about takes that I had. So we'll start with you if you feel like if you got a shorter one, and then we'll go into my nerd shit.
Dude, video game wise, this is the game I've been playing over the past couple months, to be honest. Like, it took me, like, just having he's out of the newborn stage, but, like, time is precious. And when I've been getting the gaming in, it's been this one. A lot of time watching the NBA, man. So that's been a major side quest, is actually watching the playoffs. Well, it was fun. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm unashamed to be a Timberwolves fan. Like, we'll always jock the Minnesota sports on this pod, and people, of course, dude.
Actually, so
exactly. Yeah. So, like, of course, we're bummed. We would love to be in the finals right now, but dude, it was history. The Timberwolves made history. They won their first. Granted, like, it kind of sucked to get slapped by Dallas, but at least we got one, man. Like, I brought up Queens of the Stone Age. You brought up Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was 20 years ago, bro. I went to that concert at the Excel. Queens opened. It was the Mars Volta, Queens of the Stone Age, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and during that concert, it was during the Western Conference playoffs when we were just about to start playing against the Lakers, and Flea, the drummer of of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, comes out wearing a KG jersey, and the stadium goes nuts, dude. It was so cool. And then he, like, puts up his finger and he's like, "Hold up." And then he pops off the jersey. He's got a Kobe jersey underneath, and everybody's like, boo, what the fuck? And then we proceed to get slapped up by the Lakers. So
there's
20 years
in there, which is that go to concerts, and a lot of time those opening acts kind of become legendary in their own, dude.
100%. But dude, it's been 20 years. It's been waiting 20 years to get back to that stage, and we actually won, man. We got swept by the Lakers 20 years ago in the Western Conference, finals. There was some, like, we don't have to get into the weeds on why that happened, but it was dope to win one. I would have loved to make that a better like series, but I'll tell you what, dude, like, major side quest. And I was like, am I going to watch the Celtics in Dallas? Like, I haven't been keyed into every game like I was with the Timberwolves, but it's been fun. Like, I've been watching them, and I'll tell you what, bro, it's controversial. A lot of people say that I should be rooting for Dallas right now, but fuck them.
Celtics are up by 18, so I think you're good.
Dude. And you know why?
It's hard to cheer for the Celtics.
You know why I'm going with the Celtics?
No.
Because that's where KG got his chip.
Fuck that.
Dude, fuck you not liking KG. You're ridiculous.
Dude, they've had like 20 championships. Like,
yeah, but that's where KG got his chip, man. So, like, I have a soft spot.
A ton.
I mean, that's true. That's true. 100%. Like, any other sport,
like, it's hard to cheer for the team that beat you. Some people say you should. Luka Doncic looks fat. We have to respect dudes who normalize chubby-looking body types while succeeding. And Dirk was my favorite player growing up. But
dude, I know, but he's great. Like, I respect Dirk now, but, like, you're ridiculous.
No, I'm very indifferent to the conclusion of this series, but it's looking like it's headed Boston. All right, man. So basketball, I feel you.
Mm-hmm. Dune 2. I saw Dune 2. You watched Dune 1
dude.
or Dune 2?
Nope.
Great
Considering
movies.
reading the book someday.
Great movies.
The Fallout show, I am one of the millions who's like, hey man, I should play more Fallout games. Previously, I had only played Fallout New Vegas. So at some point when the show first went on sale, or when the show first aired, they had all the games on different platforms, pretty deep discounts. So I bought like Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 for probably less than $8 combined, dude. It's something paltry. And Fallout 3 is actually extremely hard to play on PC without like some really specific shits and supports. So playing it on Xbox is actually incredibly smooth. But I am also playing a very crunchy Bethesda RPG from like 2012, 2011. So I was like a freshman, sophomore in high school. So sometimes it's really, really awesome to play that game, and sometimes it is not a modern game.
Dude, I'm trying to decide. Do I go all the way back to Fallout 1 to like get my toes wet with the Fallout, or do I just go to 3?
No, I think people who like, I think the modern way to play it is start with like 3 or New Vegas or 4, and then you go back. Ace Boyoing is the only person I've ever met who's played 1 or 2, and I don't know if he's beaten either of them or even started 1 actually.
Yeah, I launched 1 and it is crunchy.
Yeah, and it's made by like Bethesda bought the IP or like took over for 3. So it was like a completely different thing in genre even before 3. 3's awesome. I wish I would have played it in its time. I think it would have been like crazy for me. And if you are ever to pick up a file, so you've never even played New Vegas.
I fired it up, but I only played about a half an hour, and that's one that I would really like to tackle.
It has a specific like play style that makes sense if you're playing it, but if you've never played it, sometimes it can be a bit jarring how just like in the fucking open you are. Like, well, what do you want to do, dude? You have this objective over across the map over there, but you don't have to get over there. Like that obviously sounds like something that a lot of games do, but like Fallout is really like, yeah, just it's over there. You'll figure it out. And then you run into all this other shit and go crazy. So I really like it. I find it kind of hard and difficult to vibe with occasionally, but there's some times where I just like mindlessly play it for a few hours and it's really sick. Other than that, I also need to shout out the second Star Wars game, Jedi Survivor. You have not played either of the Ginger Jedi games, have you?
About a quarter into the first one.
Okay, it is cleaner than the first one. The first one was really good, but like there was some weird. Dude, I've never played a more graphically impressive game that's also like falling apart occasionally.
That is
Respawn
like a
makes
knock
them.
on it.
You'll see like clips go by, like some's glitching out over there, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And then you'll be like lost in the environment. It's so gorgeous, and then like just like part of your screen's just like glitching over there and you're like, what the fuck? Or I killed this enemy and it's just like floating in the air. I'm like, this games are really like, whenever I think of like how hard it is to make AAA games, like this might be the example of it. Souls-like game, you're gonna die a bunch. Reminds you of Uncharted. You never played any of those games, did you?
No.
The third person view, the climbing, platforming, very reminiscent of that. I think it's reminiscent of Souls-like for a lot of reasons. But one, because you're in an area and then you unlock shortcuts that bring you back to the different campfire or meditation
I was
points.
gonna say you got the campfire thing going on too. It's also like
you die a lot, you roll, you parry.
Right.
It's weird though, because like every time you rest, your enemies respawn, which is a Souls-like thing, but it's also like a Metroid thing, or like other games, or like just every time you go there, the enemies are back. It's weird in a story-based game for that to happen. Like it's weird for me
did
to
think
like,
that was odd.
Yeah, and like sometimes the stormtroopers are like fighting a different group, and then you save or whatever, and then you go back and like they're fighting again. So it's like that doesn't work. The immersion gets kind of lost. But I'm getting really into that game. That game's really sick. I do actually recommend it. Lastly, Terrascape. People just be ignoring me sending them 6-second video clips and telling them that this game is so cool, dude.
It's on my wish list now.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's
nice.
Hexagonal puzzle, deck building, city building. you basically have this terrascape.
Speaking of hexagons, dude, you see the Civ 7 coming?
Yeah, dude, you already know I'm ignorant for that shit.
Nah.
Don't cut me off. You have to listen to Terrascape because you haven't responded to my various outreaches yet. And you just lay down these tiles and they have synergies with each other and you build up this thing and you get this high score and it's really fucking engrossing and it's great and it's meditative and play the fucking game, dude. It's awesome.
Right on.
I'm just going to buy it on Steam and then start for Alex and then start making him just harassment campaign until he plays it. So we'll see.
I have 2 more side quests.
Oh, so you're just going to zone out during my side quests?
I was
because
listening.
You're thinking of new side quests for yourself?
I was listening.
What do you have?
I'll play
shitty,
Terrascape. What do you want me to say?
shitty NPC. What do you want?
I got a shout out to the homie Jimmy who's in the Discord. Jimmy got together with him in the real lives. He had a little couch co-op hangout. That was a lot of fun, man. We played some multiplayer games at his crib with some homies. 2 games that I want to say for people that want to do some couch co-op. 100% couch co-op. Maddie Makes Games, the Celeste maker. Towerfall. Have you played Towerfall?
No.
It's a really fun multiplayer game. I think we play with 4 folks. I think you might be able to do up to 6 or 8, but that one's a great multiplayer game, especially it is an in-person thing. I don't think they have an online deal. So that one's a lot of fun. Definitely check out Towerfall. And then the other game that he showed us that I was really into is called Freedom Finger. You heard of that one?
Freedom Finger? No, sounds gross, dude.
Yeah, so this one is the art style super cool. The music, it has like a bunch of licensed music. It's just like a great soundtrack, dude. It's like but you're Freedom Finger because you're this middle finger spaceship that's like flying through and shooting things out of his finger. It's a shmup, and you know how I feel about shmups. But then you like take this like cool comic book art style, add these like really cool tracks, a lot of stuff from like rhyme sayers and shit like that. Like, you know, it's like a lot of really cool tracks, and then you like throw it into a shmup, dude, and it was just like, it was wild. So holler at Jimmy. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a homie. Thanks for hosting the couch co-op session, bro. And then lastly, I just got a new lizard brain collected thing going on beyond my video game habits. I started dabbling in basketball trading cards, dude. My big love for the Timberwolves and having so much fun, like getting keyed into the NBA playoffs, got me thinking about cards, dude. And I'm not gonna go into it too much, but I just gotta say it's been too much fun.
Collect stuff, man. Buy physical media so Alex
Indeed.
would sell it to you.
My problem is that, like, yes, like I do sell stuff
Al's
to like
got 2 rookie
feed the
Alexei
habit.
Shved cards, and he's got some Russia Pro Team Alexei Shveds, and he's got he's got a Rashad McCants rookie card. He's also got a Rashad McCants on Gilbert Arenas' couch card.
Dude, I wish.
He's got some super specifics, dude.
No, man, I'm collecting for the teapups. That's my goal. But that's been cool. That's been
Those
cool.
are all Timberwolves, dude.
Oh no, sorry.
You don't know the nitty gritty Alexei Shved, dude. Oh, that's when we
big
win
stretch
a
there where I had to
championship.
tune out.
when we win a championship, dude, me and my Alexei Shved shirt purchase will be the leader of the bandwagons, and I'll tell everybody else whether or not they're allowed to party with me because you're
I
a
love
real
it.
fucking sicko if you fucking thought he was the future of the franchise.
I remember when you were hyped on him. Does he even play anymore?
No, dude, he's in Russia again with cornrows. It's awesome.
Oh, good shit.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yes.
there's some good, this is like some exciting guys that we had like not too long ago. Like a Kogi, he like went over to the Phoenix Suns or something. Like some
Chilling
people that
on
we
the
thought
bench.
were going to be like, I know some people that we thought were going to do it for us, but you know what? We got our savior in the Ant-Man.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening. You're a real one for sticking around.
Me and Kuno are
Big
gonna
digital
do some
hugs.
speed.
Yeah, we got some shady liquor that we found in a. Who knows where you
Oh,
found it?
did
To
you
be
lick
honest,
the liquor off the countertop? Did you do that?
I didn't in this playthrough. When I first fired up the game, I did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did. Anyway,
Nice.
yes.
Low5gaming.com. Check us out. Join the Discord if you're not already there. We'd love to chat games with you. And yeah, if this is your, give us some ratings. If you're listening to us on, iTunes or Spotify or another catcher that has ratings, please rate us. Jump on our website, buy a t-shirt. I don't know. Fucking jock this shit. Get the word out. Let's play some games. Bye.